Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Daniel, the CEO and co-founder at Fullview. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Christian? Thanks a lot for having me on the podcast.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining. Firstly, please tell us what is Fullview?
Yeah, sure. So Fullview is a startup based in Europe, kind of scattered remote team. What we do is we help SaaS companies understand and fix their customer support issues, as well as some of their UX related problems in their product team. And we do that by basically helping support agents and product managers understand what is going on their customers' UI. Especially when they reach out, for example, through like a customer support chat or open support tickets, it can be very problematic to actually understand what did the customer just do before reaching out to me. And we help you see and get insights into what has happened through, for example, features like session replays, essentially recordings of what customers do in your product. And we couple that together with a really powerful thing called co-browsing, which essentially lets you jump in real time into a customer session, click around on their screen and guide them through a problem they're having as if you're sitting right next to the customer in real time.
That's awesome. And are you the first solution to implement this solution, the co-browsing technique?
Yeah, I mean, we're one of the only ones that are like consolidating things like co-browsing and session replays together. Both of those have existed in various forms for various different types of use cases in the marketplace for some time, but we're one of the first ones to consolidate these together for specifically customer support teams and also a growing audience of product teams that tend to collaborate very closely with customer support teams, typically in a setup that's called customer experience. It's kind of like a new term for the bridge kind of between customer support and product teams. And that's kind of where we live.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I love to hear from your perspective the most common issues with the customer experience, the issues that SaaS companies face.
Sure, we would be more than happy to. So basically, the most common issues that we see that customer support teams they face and SaaS companies in general they face, it's really hard to gain context around customers' issues. It's hard to see your own product through your customer's eyes, and we do exactly that. So it's hard to like pretend like or get like the same kind of in-person type of experience when you sit right next to someone and you observe them in the wild using your product. You see where they get lost. You see where they have friction points. And you can handhold them and guide them through issues that they're having. That's like a common problem, especially for SaaS solutions that tend to have a little bit more complexity to them. That could be like ERP type of systems, Salesforce type of solutions, especially those types of products. They really need often lots of handholding for users.
Yeah, makes total sense. And with the full view, you get the full view of the customer.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I love to hear your most loved features.
Yeah, so I mean, the co-browsing has really picked up quite nicely and been really like an interesting solution, especially when you compare it to legacy screen control solutions. Like most people probably think of TeamViewer or similar to TeamViewer. Which is, probably the best known screen control solution out there that has existed for, I think, 15 years or something like that. But basically what happens with solutions like that, you have to download desktop client. If your customer doesn't have it already, which most don't, you have to download it. IT laws can sometimes prevent people from downloading things onto their work computers. It becomes a whole 10-step process just to start the screen control solution versus like a one-click integrated screen control solution that runs in the browser and inside your own product. So that's definitely been like a killer feature for us. Meanwhile, session replays has also been really interesting to get that kind of context around what the customer is actually complaining about.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you have to ask the customers before and they will know that their video will be recorded when they log into the software or something, right?
So we built Fullview in a very privacy-friendly way, and we're a European company at heart. We're located here in Copenhagen. So basically, GDPR is also very important for us. So it's important that definitely sometimes people need to state this in their privacy policies and whatnot. But the way that Fullview is actually built, it's built to automatically redact any sensitive private information on your customer screen. So we do that, through different forms. Like we do it, through regex, and we also do it through like redact mechanisms in the code, which are way more solid than just a regex redaction.
That's great. And now I'd love to hear your favorite customer success story.
Favorite customer success story. Actually, so we have a variety of different customers using our product, everywhere from startups to much larger companies that use our product. And basically, some of the most interesting stories we hear is when people can actually find clear experience problems in their customer experience problems in their product using, for example, session replays. So we had a payment solution. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say their specific name actually in a format like this, but I'll try to get their permission. But anyways, like it's a fintech app for like basically it's a payment solution, payroll related, right? And they found that someone was struggling to withdraw money into their bank account, which is obviously a really time sensitive and urgent matter. So they found that issue using Fullview, was able to co-browse with the customer and guide them through it, and then also pass that issue on to their product teams to fix that user experience problem so it doesn't keep happening over and over again. So that was a perfect, basically like embodiment of being like a bridge between customer support and product teams.
Yeah, exactly. You have a fantastic product. I love it. Do you have any integrations?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, integrations are vital to any SaaS product, and especially in the world of customer support. Obviously, Intercom, Zendesk, Salesforce Service Cloud, those are like really important to integrate with. So, we integrate with all of those solutions. We're also looking at building integrations with Jira, maybe also Product Board. That one we're like trying to investigate a little bit further, but we're constantly launching new integrations to make it more powerful.
And what is the pricing for Fullview? How does it work?
The pricing is twofold. It's kind of a hybrid. On the co-browsing, it's very straightforward. We charge 49 euros on our monthly plan per support agent per month, and that's unlimited number of co-browsing calls. On the session replays, it's a usage-based pricing model, so it depends on the number of sessions you want to record. It starts at only 89 euros per month for up to 10,000 recordings per month, and then you can scale up from there if you need to.
I understand. And now I'd love to hear how you manage to differentiate in such a competitive market, because customer experience is very crowded, and you build something unique. What's your perspective on that? How did you manage to do it?
It's a great question. It can be a crowded market in customer experience, especially in the level 1 support, which is your chat, your ticketing. The market is very crowded with chat systems, especially nowadays. Everyone is also talking about chatbots, like AI chatbots, right? And I think that's awesome. I'm really excited about that progress as well. We focus on the level 2 and level 3 of customer support, which is more like complex cases where you often need like human intervention. That's after the chatbot has basically filtered out all of your very repetitive questions, and you get down to the more like tough questions around like actually how do I do something specific to my account or something like that. That's not a repetitive thing. That's where Fullview comes in, and we try to speed that process up even further. And then, of course, like consolidating different things like co-browsing and session replays.
So there are multiple levels in customer support,
yes.
Right? So level 1, level 2, level 3.
Yeah, that's important to distinguish customer support. Like level 1 is typically like, hey, I lost my password or some questions similar to that. To be honest, I think, with the launch of ChatGPT and GPT-4, like those things, like Intercom launched something called Fin. That's like their GPT-based chatbot, essentially. It's really good at answering those types of level 1 questions. And I definitely think that we'll see further adoption of that type of automation for level 1. So we deal with everything after your chatbot has basically answered your repetitive questions and someone has a specific question about their account or UX related or bugs in their product.
Okay. And when did you start the company?
We started the company just under 2 years ago. So we're still at the seed stage.
And how did you come up with the idea? Why did you want to choose this to solve this
Yeah,
problem?
the idea was a personal pain that me and my co-founder had felt. We had dealt with, we worked in different SaaS companies. We built different SaaS products before, and we basically felt the pain of trying to understand your customers' problems, both when they reach out to you, but also proactively when you launch new features and want to optimize the user experience. That's twofold. So we decided to, hey, let's build a product around understanding user problems, both inside of your chat and also proactively in your product team. And then let's find a way to actually guide those customers when they really get stuck.
Awesome. And how big is your team right now?
Our team is about to be 15 people. So it's a pretty lean machine.
That's fantastic. And have you raised any funding?
We've raised somewhere around 8 to 9 million euros. I forget the exact number. Across 2 funding rounds, pretty much like one back-to-back funding rounds, pre-seed and seed, about a year or so ago. From led by Lightspeed Venture Partners in the US and Cherry and Seedcap here in Europe.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And how confident you are that you found the product market fit?
It's still early days for us, but we have some very strong, very strong signals towards that. But who is to define what product market fit really means? There's different definitions of it, but it's definitely something that I think we're starting to trend towards. But we're still very much at the seed stage.
Okay, how did you get your first customers for Fullview?
So first customers, it was actually kind of through like word of mouth. So through our personal networks, we were able to land the first like 1 or 2 customers, and then we were able to basically scale through like organic content marketing. So through like SEO, LinkedIn content, things like that, coupled together with some outbound as well.
So content marketing was your best growth strategy.
That works quite well. Content marketing and SEO. We haven't really done much paid marketing yet, but maybe it's something we'll explore.
I appreciate the transparency. What has been your biggest challenge since starting the company?
Biggest challenge? I mean, so the nature of our product means that there's a huge amount of data that you need to ingest and process, and that's definitely been a technical challenge. It means that we have, millions, tens of millions of events that are being processed, and you need to do it very fast because people often need to watch like a live user session. If there's like someone reports an issue through intercom chat and you want to watch what is going on the customer screen right now, we need to process those user events and make them available to people almost in real time. So that's definitely some challenges around technology and scalability that we had to overcome.
I understand. Are you also a technical person?
I'm not a technical person. I'm basically leading like product experience and also, of course, sales and many other hats as an early stage CEO, marketing. Some days I'm also an accountant at the end of the month. Yeah.
Of course. And what did you say was your biggest mistake that you did?
That's always a really hard question. Sometimes that only becomes clear in hindsight, to be honest with you. But I think maybe like there's some mistakes around tech stack that we should have picked better in the early days before we knew that we were going to hit some of these like technical scalability challenges. We've since overcome those challenges and actually switched out many parts of our tech stack and refactored some things, which I think is pretty normal to refactor certain parts of your product in the early days, especially. But I wish I had known about, let me put it this way, I wish I had known that ClickHouse existed 2 years ago. It's like a phenomenal database for speed, especially.
And now for the future of the company, what is your vision? Where do you want to go with Fullview?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I want Fullview to become like the de facto product for understanding and fixing user experience related problems. And when I say user experience, that lives within both your product team and your customer support team. Traditionally, it's been owned by your product managers, your product designers within the product organization. That's no longer true because customer experience is basically like a field that is growing very fast, and people are realizing that customer support people are kind of like the front line of your product experience. Hence, it makes so much sense to have an easy way for your customer support people to understand what's going on in your product and pass on UX frustration points and bugs and so forth over to your product team without anything getting lost in translation. And we do that with one shareable link.
Fantastic. I'm rooting for you. Hope to achieve the vision. And now more on the personal side. I love to hear how you started your career.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Yeah, so I started very at a very young age. Like I worked in my first startup when I was 19. I basically skipped lots of classes and almost kind of dropped out of university to work in my first startup. I lived in the U.S. at the time. I'm born in Copenhagen, but I was studying out there in California, and I was basically helping build like a startup in actually the consumer space, completely different from what I'm doing now, around like gift cards, like a gift card app. I don't think it was looking back at it. I don't think it was the best idea, but we didn't know that at the time, and the company didn't work out. But it was an incredible learning experience. So that kind of turned me on to startups. And then I was also very interested in finance at the time. So as a super young person at the time, obviously trying to figure out the path for me, I thought maybe mixing together the world of finance and entrepreneurship, venture capital, that industry would have been an interesting career choice for me. I don't think that's the case anymore at all. I realize now I'm a builder at heart, but that was like something I spent maybe a short amount of time, 2 years or so working in VC, and then I realized, hey, I need to get my hands dirty again and not be a builder. So I eventually made it over to the founder side.
Okay, and then you started Fullview, right after the
VCs?
Well,
I had some companies in operational roles and go-to-market roles at different SaaS companies before that, and then I started Fullview.
Was it easier for you to raise, having experience in VC in the past?
I think it helped a lot. Definitely, it helped because like I already knew who to go to, and they knew me, and then we didn't have to spend a lot of time getting to know each other. So that definitely helped a lot.
So the connection was the most important part.
Yeah, I think that was an important part of it, and then also just knowing like how to go about a fundraise. There's so many mistakes you can make, and it's easy to mess up your cap table in the early days. So, of course, those are not things that are important day to day after it's done. But once you're doing it in the moment, it's important because it could mess things up and change the incentives for you in the long term. So in that moment of the fundraise, it was definitely very helpful to have that experience.
Are there some learnings that you can share that you got from working in the VC space that can help other funders?
I think like people who have some level of investor experience, it's not like I had many years of it at all, but like at least some, and that definitely helped me like, understanding markets in a fast way, like looking at products and trying to like analyze and understand directions of markets, because that's kind of what investors do when they're looking at deals, trying to like digest where a market is going, form some thesis around different markets. So that definitely can help you as a entrepreneur. But honestly, day to day, like it's not something it's not a skill set that I think is like directly translatable, because it's very different when you're actually doing the work. Yeah,
I understand. Thank you for sharing. And what would be your best piece of advice for a starting founder?
Best piece of advice, I would say, like build a strong technical foundation before you try to add a lot of users. Try to make sure that, because otherwise you'll just have to go back and like fix a lot of things later. Like we had to do some of that. Thankfully, like we have a really strong team that could do that without too much interruption to the business. But obviously, if we could have avoided some of those things and maybe like built like something like for us specifically, it was like just picking the right technology for our specific use case. If you just spend like an extra month or two, like I know you have to move fast, obviously, but spend an extra month or two just figuring out like, the tech stack, build some POC prototypes around that, and then make sure your tech stack is like really solid and you build a solid technical foundation, and then go from there. Even if it slows you down in your first year, it'll help you speed up in the following years.
Absolutely. Probably this is the biggest lesson from today's podcast. So thank you so much. I have one last question. What's your favorite SaaS product apart from Fullview?
Oh, that's hard. There's a product called Snitcher that I use a lot. I think it's a really cool product. It's like a marketing tool, actually. It's totally different from what type of tool I'm building, but it's like it helps you see which companies are on your website. It's also like Clearbit does something similar to that, but like Snitcher is more of like a affordable solution for startups, and it helps you see who's visiting your website, and then helps you to kind of like target them in terms of like outbound and retargeting. So that's a cool product.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to mention on today's podcast?
No, nothing specific. Check out Fullview if you work in SaaS, if you work either with product teams or customer support teams. Check out fullview.io.
Thank you so much for joining. You did great, and I wish you all the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christian.